you doing?
Hello, Michael.
How's it going in LA? You're in Venice, California, see?
I'm actually in Redondo Beach, and temperatures are extremely high, but in the same time, like breeze from the ocean is kind of like cooling us. So it's really pleasant. It's nice. I love this area a lot.
Yeah, you're very lucky. I mean, I lived in Ventura for a while, and it was the ocean breeze was the only thing that saved you on most days. So, yeah, so incredible. I am excited to get the opportunity to talk to you about your work for Existimos and to hear a little bit more about the story behind it. I see that you've hung one of your flags behind you.
Yes, I wanted to like make, to actually hide a lot of stuff behind the flag, but also to present like what is the part of this series is actually already in Mexico. One of the works that I made on textile. It's acrylic paint on a textile made in the form of a flag or something that represents I mean, flags in general, they are representing like nationality or like belonging to some idea, concept, or a group. And I just wanted to, I mean, I was always very connected to nature and especially to these wild plants that we are collectively calling them weeds, like that they're like bad or something that is wrong about them, but basically they are very beautiful plants. They are part of the ecosystem, which is very important to say that they are the healthy part of our ecosystem that does not need any pesticides, herbicides, or like other treatments, bad treatments. But also like the weeds in my art kind of represents actually that queerness or like difference or something that is like hidden knowledge in them. So I just wanted to represent those plants as something that is more emblematic and something that everybody can actually relate to, even though our first association with weeds is bad.
Right. Which I think it's a fair statement to say also the comparison to queer as well, because there's still a fair number of people out there who don't like us and consider us invasive species.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like probably part of human nature, simplification of everything and polarization of everything. So you need to have like, in order to explain, I don't know, how nature functions, you really need to put it in some like really strange binary system. Like, everything is just simplification is always bad.
Right, yeah.
That's something that really hurts not only our culture, but basically right now it's hurting also nature, and the problems that we are facing right now as global community in a sense of like climate change and other stuff. It's also like part of that very probably natural psychological mechanism that we really need to start to I don't know, we have to evolve in some other creatures. We have to become better.
Right. No, I agree. I think I think my personal perspective is that everybody needs to find a way to do it for themselves. That it's great to have these overall arching plans and stuff, but if people start thinking about it in little steps, like the things that I can control within my sphere of influence, and I'll affect that. And if everybody would just do that, we'd probably see a dramatic change. But everybody tends to think about change as needing to come from the outside, and they need to see it in everybody else before they can accept it and create actions towards it. But in reality, we're all responsible for our own ecology around us too. So, and our own health with the pandemic and everything too. quite obvious right now with people who don't want to wear masks and all these different ideals competing with each other.
Oh yeah, it's like not you know, it's very strange, but system really needs to be changed. And the problem with the changing the system is always like that we are blaming one person for like the whole system, and basically
Right.
system is not made by one person, it's made by a group, and it's consent by a group.
Right.
So if we want to change the system, we really truly need to change the group, to educate the group, to like, you know, influence the group to evolve, and then the system will change. So so yeah, I mean, it is huge individual responsibility that we need to understand, but also like, you know, this kind of events that you're organizing right now, and like you're doing this for a very long time right now, so you know how important is activism. And of course, like this is very this is something that I as an artist like feel responsible for. My art need to be you know, activist in some way. It need to change or call someone. And you know, sometimes art really do not have that power, which is bad. But sometimes actually art can talk about very complex questions, very complex themes, in a very you know, in a sense to explain actually the whole context of something. But if you're listening always news or something where you want to receive all these informations, the context is something that is missing out,
Right.
you know. So that's why contemporary art actually have this amazing power to talk about very important and complex questions in very complex way.
Sure. And one of the things that I appreciate about your art and that I look for in art that I enjoy and that I create myself is like, I think it's really important that it have a perspective that it could be beautiful, and the beauty is an access point for people to enter your work. And then as I talk to you about your work, you can slowly reveal that activism side of things, those sort of concepts that are, you know, little seeds that you're planting in people's minds, and get them to think a little bit more about what's actually going on with the work that you produce as well. So even if I mean, there's some artwork, contemporary artwork, that's clearly conceptually from an activist standpoint. Like there's no denying it. It's, you know, it is this, it's this, and it's telling you this. But I think there's something very powerful about the subtlety of work that allows you to access it from the point of beauty and introspection and meditation, which I get a lot from the pieces that you produce. You know, seeing your birds installed in the trees, and what was it, Sepulveda Canyon, or
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like these activities are very interesting.
Thank you so much for that comment. I mean, yeah, I do feel that my art is in a way like activist, but in a like a spiritual activism, because for my work is very important like that spiritual level. And while I'm creating, I'm always like practicing some kind of meditation, or some kind of like really like transmitting some kind of energy. So I am producing many times like really pleasant works for watching. They are like they are not traumatized, they are like kind of like purified from that point of view. But in the same time, like sometimes I'm talking about very devastating situations, so horror is actually coming up anyway. So but I'm trying to make it like pleasant for myself. So that's
Sure.
also very like selfish about my artistic practice, because I'm truly making art because I feel the call to make it. I'm not trying to please anyone, and I'm just, sometimes I'm even feeling that I'm like a medium to just deliver some kind of message that does not come from my own experience, but comes from some, you know, collective, or even, you know, some experiences which are even more deep, like, you know, some strange energies of a different geographical regions. And I just love to like be in that creative state of mind.
Right.
And that really
Yeah.
like that's my therapy. And I really appreciate when I see that other people who are watching it also feel the therapeutical sense of that work.
Well, yes, and I mean, I myself, I think I relate to your work because it is a form of meditation, and I can tell that I often refer to it as if like like when I'm working, I feel like I'm channeling something, and the energy is coming through me. I'm a conduit of it. Not that I don't have any control over it, or I don't impose a perspective on it, or but I'm keenly aware of how the energy is flowing through me and what a kind of a gift that is. But it puts me into a state of meditation. I also consider it sort of medicine. So, and I think when you understand that in your own personal experience, you can see that in other people's work, and it attracts you towards it, like it's like a magnetism sort of thing too. So you have a lot of beautiful work too. So even your patio is beautiful.
Yeah, I love to like paint, to do like, I am a painter originally, but I do also like all sorts of like installations and film and performance and art videos. So I'm not like putting myself only in one niche like a painter, but I like to like express myself in any way that is like available, or that I feel that I want to channel a specific idea or a specific message. I did prepare a little presentation, so if you want, I can share my screen. And now I don't know what you can see.
Yes,
but
I can see your screen.
Okay, and I'm just gonna start to start presentation. So yeah, this is one of the works that we were talking about previously. You asked me something about this work, and this was actually Theory of Unity. This is one of my most ambitious project in a sense of like installation work. So I installed actually 4 large scale drawings. There were like something about like 15 meters, and they were like a meter in a wide, and like I actually don't know what's the actual size of this work, but it was kind of like filling the whole mosque. And there was like 4 drawings, and each drawing had this like underground and above ground level. And also like the whole story about this mosque was very interesting, because it was built in 16th century by a guy who was Janjičar in Serbia, which means that he was born by the Slavic parents, but basically because Ottoman Empire, which was ruling at that time the whole Balkan, and they reached actually Vienna. So he was born by the Slavic parents, but he was the Ottoman Empire, or the soldiers took him away from his parents, and then they trained him to be one of the leading soldiers, and he became Bali Beg. And then basically he built the mosque of ruins of Christian basilica, and also like the niche, which is the city where this installation was on a display, is also birth city of Constantine the Great, who actually established Christianity as official religion. So you have a lot of, and before Christian religion become like official, this mosque, this actually basilica was just a private palace. So I really wanted to play with this identity of the building, because building obviously changed so many times its own identity, and these bricks were reused many times. And basically right now, or after like 1977, when this building was adopted by Museum of Contemporary Art of the city of Niš, it became actually a gallery space. So in the same time, with each exhibition, we would again have like complete annihilation of the identity of the building. So I just wanted to create something specifically for that building, and to also like tell the story about these four different, you know, sides of the world, and like different religions collapsing into one, and also like just to build one kind of like a vertical, like something that we are missing that spiritual vertical, so that we can actually evolve in something else. And also like I'm playing a lot with the sacred geometry, and those actually drawings were kind of response to the I don't have right now photos of the beautiful windows of this beautiful building, but basically they were responding to the different sides of the church. And yeah, so that was Theory of Unity from like 5 years ago. And this is the flag that I also like sent one of those in Mexico. So the first one on the left is going to be part of the show that you are curating. Right. And thank you so much again for like when I see the list of artists, when I go and see all their pages and everything, what other artists are doing, and like figuring out who they are, because I of course I know a lot of them, but I also don't know some of them. And I'm like so you know, so grateful to be part of this really amazing exhibition. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. So it's a very organic presentation. So it's I feel a little luck. I feel like there's a little bit of luck in it in terms of like the way everything mixed together. So and how everyone fits together so easily. So.
Yeah, it's really sometimes when we are doing you know, organization of things, it's also like very beautiful to let things to happen in a natural way, in an organic way, and then, you know, that unfolds a lot of beautiful possibilities. So the flag, which is right now on this slide in the middle of the of those two wall flags, is the flag behind me, and also the flag that I used in another film that I wanted to just mention because that was our original idea, to actually first present the film Traveler, but you know, it's kind of like better to have like original work also, like, and Traveler is right now on kind of like touring through the festivals. I didn't expect that the festivals are gonna be also like the place where I'm gonna present my works, but that happened to be like also very organically done. This is some of my photography that I was also working since I moved here in California like 3 years ago. And on the 15th of August. So now it's like 3 years and few days or weeks. So this is also like sometimes I'm just combining some of my drawings with photography, with video, with like I really don't know what I'm doing as in a sense of like what is gonna be the medium, what is gonna be the final medium of what I'm doing. It's always kind of just following the concept, the idea, the message, and then the medium is coming up out of that like very easily. So sometimes I'm surprised to say like, oh, I just accidentally, you know, made another video or like another photography, because, you know, this is not planned stuff. This is really something that I'm like channeling through the, you know, if I'm on a journey, if I'm always just having a cameras and like few cameras and also mobile phone with the camera. And so this was like very, very lucky. This is that valley. And you can see actually the shadow of me having the bird and taking a picture, which was kind of like interesting for me. And this is like some scene from the beach. This is sometimes I like to pose in my in my work, and also to include poetry. So I also kind of like write, but I just like keep it like not that I'm not forcing myself to do anything. So this is one of the rare poems that I wrote also about summer and LA. This is some experiments with birds. This is also like some experiment with like shadows and sand sculpting at the beach. So the beach is the place where I spend a lot of time as well. This is some old house that is falling apart in close to Yosemite National Park. And this is also like some just poses for the camera, and then at the end, after like thousands of images, I'm picking up one or two or three. And this is this is probably the piece that you were thinking of when you said you know, about like the environment and how actually environment can be like just if we just listen what is happening, and if we don't like do any kind of conclusions. This is the spirits of burned locations in LA, various locations in LA. So when I moved here like 3 years ago, I never actually experienced huge fire. For me, that was like some kind of, you know, local small fires that I was like scared of. And then when I realized that LA has a fire season, which is like from the summer until like February, which is like really long fire season.
It's actually technically from March until February of the next year. There's only 1 month.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, this is really when fires start, it's like it's more than crazy, because you can see not only clouds of a dust of what's the name, smoke. But actually you can, during the night, you can see how, you know, the whole part of the sky is burning, because it's quite close to you. And Malibu, when it was burning, we were watching from these shores from South Bay. We could see basically everything was in a big flame, which is, and by the way, you know, Serbia is the size of Orange County plus LA County.
Okay, wow.
So for me, like, you know, Serbia is, you know, that's a big land. Again, it's not that small, but, you know, for me, those comparisons were so confusing, and I was so scared. So after the fires, I would just go and visit some of the, you know, locations, and then I would pick up some burned branches or pieces of wood that are not possible to be recovered, because many times, like, if the wood is undamaged under the ground, it has a potential to actually recover and to go back to like life. But basically I was just picking up something that is like falling off, and you can see on these details that this is really very fragile material, and it is burned wood. So I would just like also try to when I'm doing like drawings and every other stuff, I'm always like, if I'm creating any kind of waste, like for example, if I'm like reorganizing my drawings, I like to keep all my leftovers of my drawings. And this is something that is kind of like connecting yours and mine practice, because you're doing very similar thing, and you're like, you know, having that pieces of paper in your hand is kind of like really nice tactile element of creating something. So I just always keep everything. And those jars that you can see basically on this, there is a slab of wood, like a trunk, that is basically the wood from my street that was cutted. So I keep that little piece of the wood, or what's the name for that?
A stump.
Stump. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So above it, it's like jars filled with this with leftovers of my drawings. Also, there are like some birds, which are basically I was also hired like last year to make to be artistic director for one theater play. So that's also like the thing that overlaps with my artistic practice. I'm even in the theater and doing some stuff as artistic director. So I created a lot of birds, and after the theater play was over, I realized that I want to again, recycle my own drawings. So I created those angels, and those stars are made of the old maps. So basically everything what you can see in this installation is 100% recycled material, including the wire, including because that's like some leftovers, or the wire that I could find in the street even, which is crazy, but in LA streets you can find
you can find anything.
And I'm kind of like really proud that even I started to crumble this this charcoal, and I started to make my own pigments for creating my own ink. So that's really like sometimes I'm thinking, oh my God, am I crazy for doing this? Like for being so like conscious about like not creating a waste and using everything what is possible. But sometimes you just feel that call. It's not about is it logical not or not, but like sometimes like those spirits possess you, and then you have to do that, because it's like you feel the call. So
well, you're flowing with the energy. So if you're going with the energy of it, and the materials are presenting themselves, it feels like they're talking to you. It feels like they're part of the conversation. They just continue to evolve and show you things. And I think there's like a lot of magic inside of that. It's a very spiritual place to be able to have these conversations and be in tune with your materials and that at that level. Because a lot of people think that making artwork, is a very controlled thing, and they try to control it so much that I think you start to lose your joy in the process of making it, because it becomes a process, just a system to produce something. And I think there's a lot of, there are things that you want to hold on to, but there are also things that you need to allow them to come in and show you something new, to keep it fresh.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I do feel exactly like in that sense, like the energy of around you while you're creating is just like channeling something that is beyond you. So art does not have to come from your own personal experience or your even collective experience, but sometimes can come from dead tree, which is very, very spiritual. It's very I can feel those energies very strongly in my body, in my soul, in my mind, and it's very touching. And at the end, when you create something like this, and when you put it on the exhibit, and when you see how people are reacting, and maybe few people actually started to cry, I was like, how to explain all this stuff in words, how to explain those stuff in like video report on the news or something. Like this is really something that is like we and unfortunately a lot of art production is just part of art business model, and it's kind of like cleaned out from the energy level. And that's something that me personally as an artist, I'm trying to really deal with energies and with spirits in my art. it's more like some kind of like witchcraft or shamanic practice than like really trying to sell all these works, because I'm really, this is not even possible to be sold.
Right,
Like
right.
this is falling
Well,
apart, everything.
and you're not saying that you don't sell work, because you do sell work, but I think it's the energy, that release of not trying to force it into the context of commercial, and people are responding to the spiritual experience of the pieces as well. So
Exactly. And you know, I'm very also grateful that so many museums right now here in LA and in Europe also like have this eye for my work, or the ear to understand it. So I'm very grateful that I have all these opportunities to show my work, because a lot of, you know, art world business models are actually just like, is it for sale or not? So I'm
right.
very grateful that I have this opportunity to also like install this not only in my studio, but also like to have people coming to different galleries. Even though right now this work is in Brea Art Gallery, and I also received the award like staff pickup, and I'm very grateful for that. But that's like huge gallery. They built it one part of the wall for me, and this exhibition is even not yet open for public, so only like artists who are participating can go and visit, and like everything is online, everything is. But previously this work was exhibited also like in El Camino art
Mm-hmm.
gallery, curated by Susanna Mayer. um, and you know, that was very touching experience with students, with different people from neighborhood who came to see this, and also like to listen to some art talks about this project. So at this point I believe that this House for Angels piece that I was talking about is just something that is going to continue to develop further, because a lot of pieces are actually, there are new pieces, there are fires every single day here right now. We had even 10 like locations with crazy fires, and it's very sad. So right now I'm working actually on a little documentary about everything, so that's also like more creative things about this very devastating thing what is happening. But you know, if you approach it with creativity, and maybe to try to send the word like to people who are not aware how bad things are.
Right. And
Things are
it's
very
kind
bad.
of this is kind of a, I mean, I think I try to contextualize the pandemic and the fires and all these things that are occurring. I mean, these are natural processes. I mean, you know, you're talking about the wood being burnt and using that as pigment for drawings and things. Well, you know, all these things are where eventually you'll be the pigment for the drawing. You know, like there's like we're all recycling into one another. It's you know, we're all connected to each other. So it's kind of interesting when people try to separate it so much, and you're just like, well, no, actually, you will be affected by these fires. You will, you know,
Exactly.
the pandemic will come to you.
You know, also mass production that we you know, just like few centuries ago artists needed to create, before they start to paint, like they needed to create everything, not only the canvas but also like the pigments, the
Right.
paints, the brushes, even you have to,
Everything.
you know, make on your own. And you know, with impressionists and with invention of the little tube, it becomes like really easy. But right now when we have like everything ordered by Amazon, and like let's try this pouring painting technique and this, like we are creating a lot of waste,
Right.
not to
Yes.
use
Yeah.
that word, yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
waste. And that's something that I'm like, as an artist I feel also responsible to create something that is recyclable, if it's not for, you know, because I don't believe that art is like something that should be seen at the first side as like, oh, it's investment, oh, it's like, you know, it's my part of like future, some art history or something.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
trying to be like you know, immortal, because I'm not. And there are so many examples of artists who are not even like, you know, known for like their amazing work. So I'm not even trying to be to fit in that part of the like
History.
business logistics or something, because it's ridiculous. But I'm trying to like make my art really like eco-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the, and that's also like the video art. That's one of the main reasons why I'm doing videos, because you know, whatever I'm doing or using in a video as a prop, or like if I'm using flags or drawings or like doing performances, it's something that can be reused, and in the same time like the final file that you are sending to the festivals, galleries or museums is just a file.
Right.
It's not even more DVD, it's truly digital file, and you know, it can be, you know, transferred, deleted. It's something that we really need to use more.
Right.
So this is the film Traveler, or the poster for the film Traveler, which is right now screened already in like 5 or I actually lost the track of my of everything. It's kind of like with this pandemic, it, things become like fast in the same time, but in the same time, like I become less organized
Well, there's
or something.
a lot of things aren't tangible right now because they are so digital, and like the conversations are not face to face, and so you know
Yeah,
you don't have like the memory of smell and sight and all the other things that kind
exactly,
of gel your
exactly.
memory. So
But you know, even, you know, and also like I was not able to be on those openings, not only because of pandemic, but because, you know, those openings were all across the Europe. And I even received my first L'Oreal, or I don't know the name for the little
the
branches that
right,
you
yes,
have at the festival. So this is my first you know, that sign. It's a Kalakari Film Festival in India, and also it was presented in Finland, in Brazil, in Serbia in one exhibition, and it's gonna be part of one online festival as well. So it's like, I don't know, it's gonna be on different. But this film was very interesting experience for me, because I basically spent almost 2 years working on it, and together with Jason Jen, who is
mm-hmm.
responsible for majority of videography. I did also some videography, and also Joseph Carrillo, who did the original score for the film. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we recorded basically for almost 2 years different landscapes of Midwest and West Coast, almost like 17 states of
Oh,
America, and just me crossing with this flag through America. And you know, all national parks. This is Monument Valley, and also like there are a lot of scenes of just me crossing the land, and also like a lot of just landscapes and details with the flowers, with like maybe some you know, just the shots which are neutral but also like recognizable. And also there are like some shots from um, urban areas like Las Vegas and LA. And it's
mm-hmm.
just 80 minutes, but with the original score that Joseph Carrillo made, this become like eligible for a lot of festivals. So right now I'm also like in the process of applying for different festivals and receiving some really nice feedback from most of them.
That's
And
terrific.
yeah,
Is it hosted somewhere online, like currently, where people can go to see the actual film itself, or do they need to do it through the festivals themselves?
right now it's only like for different exhibitions. So it was screened for like 2 weeks in Belgrade as a part of video installation. So it functions in a both way. It is a video installation and it is film. So basically, if you wanna, the narrative is very simple. You don't have to watch the whole film to figure out what it's all about. But if you wanna enjoy this really beautiful landscapes, and it's the, in a sense, it is a documentary about crazy this structure that we are doing to the nature. So it's very sad. Some of the scenes are like, I was not aware of how humans are really destroying beautiful nature, and we are very, very bad creatures. We have to evolve in something better.
Well, I think I feel like there's going to have to be an immense amount of suffering across many a diverse group of people for something to really change. And I think that's unfortunate because we have a limited amount of time on the earth to do what we need to do, and we can make an impact. But I appreciate your artwork because I think it reveals a beauty. I love the contrast of your line work, and that it's in black and white, but it maintains such a beautiful relationship to all the things that make it wonderful, the nature, the energy of your work and everything. It's very, very, very powerful. So I'll be excited to see Traveler when it's available in a way that I get to see it. So maybe we'll have to get you to Mexico City.
Yeah, I hope it's gonna be soon. And it's like it's gonna be part also of a Mezzanine Film Festival organized only online. So I'm gonna post about that, and I'm gonna send you the links. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, also like it is very interesting how art exhibitions become more and more adopted to the online versions, because obviously this is not going to be solved in with vaccine.
By December.
After we receive this vaccine, I don't believe that people will really rush into the galleries and like museums to see something, even though I would be the first one who's gonna go to see. I don't know. I hope that they're gonna finish LACMA reconstruction, because you saw the news about LACMA and like falling apart, and like now they're they are reconstructing. They are doing like building bigger LACMA than it's supposed to be or something. So there was like very, very sad videos circulating around Facebook and like Instagram, and showing how the final stage of deconstruction of the building was like organized in. So the main facade just collapsed. It was like, oh my God, this is so.
Oh no! I hadn't heard anything about that. It's kind of white noise in the middle of all the other disasters right now, but I hadn't heard anything about it. LACMA is such a
well. I hope that they're going to do a better job. They're going to make even bigger and better LACMA, which is my favorite museum. So I don't know. I mean, I miss a lot like all these exhibitions, and I would love to be everywhere in person. And I was just commenting with a few other artists, like we were hoping that we're gonna come to Mexico and like to have beautiful like meetings and chattings and like maybe art talks and like everything. And I really appreciate, and rest of the artists appreciate how you are really amazing with organizing all these art talks and like presentations and interviews. This is really awesome.
Well,
you are example of how it should be organized.
Well, it's very selfish. I mean, I've had my own fair share of bad experiences and good experiences with galleries and shows and various different things, and I just wanted to create something that was about the community. You know, maybe, I don't know. We were just talking today about February, because the first week of February is the International Art Fair week in Mexico City, and we don't know if anything's going to be happening. But I was talking to one of the other fair organizers today. One of our collaborators, because Existimos is expanding here because we have the space and the opportunity, and so many artists are struggling because they don't see their work in a gallery space. They only see them online. So we're expanding the show with 3 other galleries, and it's just super exciting to see all this energy coming together. So, you know, but that's what it's about. It's about, you know, we got to find a way to support each other and give each other opportunities and things. So, and my point was maybe in February, you know, hopefully by February, there'll be enough leveling of reality that we can, you know, have artists come and do installation work for the Art Fair Week, and, you know, have a, you know, so who knows? I mean, it's, you know, 4 or 5 months away, which seems very close, but it's also in this time. 4 or 5 months is a lifetime.
I have a feeling like whatever I'm really planning, I'm like, you know, I'm saying like, oh, in 2 years from now, like, it's always like in my mind 2 years. I kind of like I have this fear that this is not gonna be like few more months of Corona. This is gonna be like longer period of our adaptation to new reality. And of course, like, you know,
but we will adapt. We will adapt. I mean, life, the energy of life has to continue. So, commerce, art, love, hate, all of it. It's all going to continue. It might have stuttered for a little bit, but it is going to continue, and we will find a way through experimentation and everything. You know, we'll find a way. And I think it's a good time to be an artist, because there's a lot to respond to, but there's a huge opportunity to change everything. Particularly in the art world.
100%. Yeah.
So I appreciate your participating, because it's a demonstration. This is activism. Putting the show on is activism.
Absolutely. And also, like, I'm sorry, this is a train that comes. I don't know if you hear it. Probably you do. Okay. But that's very interesting. I live in a very maybe we can wait for it, like, go, because it's gonna start.
It's not too bad. I can still hear you very clearly. It's not interrupting your voice. So.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is that basically right now we also kind of like really need to hear this like queer voice, because obviously, you know, masculinity or femininity in a separate way are not giving us enough of the, you know, real answers that we need to hear. So we obviously need to hear something that is like, you know, queer voice, because that's channeling, you know, both energies in a very interesting way, and it's almost very spiritual. It's very you know, balanced in a sense that you know, exclusively masculine or feminine energy cannot balance in that sense. So I'm very optimistic in a way of how the things are developing, but also like I'm very pessimistic. You know, my feelings are very ambivalent, because when I go and see what kind of disaster we are experiencing in nature, in the sense of like climate change and really destroying our landscapes, it's really, I feel very ambivalent. You know, one day I'm very like optimistic, the other day I'm like, oh, this is so awful.
Well, I think it's the experience of being an artist who's in tune with the energy of things. So you have to accept that there's you know, everything has multiple sides to it. So if you were stuck in a constant state of bliss, we'd all be like, what drug is this guy on? Can we have some? Like, what's going on over here? I do appreciate you taking the time today. And I am
so much.
I'm super excited.
I'm enjoying every time when I'm talking to you, and I know that the folks who are gonna watch this are amazing people, and we want to share more experience with them, more like stories. And you know, all these stories are so beautiful and so nurturing. In a sense, this is really in a very practical way. This is creating a very healthy community. You know, knowing for each other, knowing different stories from different artists from different backgrounds, and this is truly beautiful what you are doing. This is beautiful series of our talks.
Thank you, and I'm just super appreciative of your participation, and I know we'll get the opportunity to work together again on different projects and things.
Oh,
and I hope we can expand on this, because I know there's so much more we could go into. So hopefully in a future time we'll get a chance to talk on this other specific topics too. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Yes, have a great one. Please stay safe. Don't run into any fires, please.
No. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Bye.